Chapter 32:22. Calm down. Huh. I'll leave right away. Zeng-ro muttered as she walked. You're so stingy. All I did was use the bathroom. Suyu was so angry that his eyes were about to spit fire, but there was nothing he could do. Who was at home when you went to get the lychees today? Madam and the housekeeper were at home, and answered honestly. Where's my dad? Master should be back tonight. Why, do you want to go home? And knew his boss wanted to leave. Or can I live in the other houses? You can live in them all, but most of your daily necessities are in the old house in here. If you move in suddenly you'll have nothing. It's not convenient. Tang Chuan's villa is not bad. I should go to his place for the night. I don't think so. Didn't Miss Qin Ning move in there? Didn't she go back to South Hill Manor? But South Hill Manor has been crowded recently and can't accommodate her. It's said that after Dr. Hu got pregnant, South Hill Manor hired more maids to take care of pregnant women. Qin Ning's father hasn't left yet, so young Master Tang fooled Miss Qin. This guy is so lucky. Suyu put his hands on his hips, worrying about where to live. President Su, I don't think you can move out. Miss Zeng will stick to you wherever you go. It doesn't matter where you go, right? Guessed. You have a point. Suyu rubbed his chin and analyzed rationally. So you'd better stay at home. Miss Zeng lives outside and won't do anything to you. Huh. Go away. Don't make trouble for me. It's annoying. In the end, Suyu didn't want to talk to him. Suyu seldom had dinner at home, so when it was dinner time he would eat and drink with a few cans of cold beer and cooked food from the fridge while watching football. Today was no exception. But Zeng-ro was different. She ordered takeout, pizza, fried chicken and beer on her cell phone. It was spread all over the table and there was even a fruit salad. Suyu. Zeng-ro shouted at the door. Go out and see what's wrong with this woman. If she's going to the toilet, just open the door for her. Suyu was too lazy to talk to the woman, and followed his boss's instructions and went to open the door. Miss Zeng, can you ask Suyu if he wants to eat the beer fried chicken I ordered for takeout? All right, please wait a moment. And then trotted to Suyu. President Su, Miss Zeng said she ordered takeout, beer and fried chicken. Do you want some? No, Suyu refused stubbornly. Miss Zeng, President Su said he's not hungry, and rejected Zeng-ro politely. That's all right. Let's go and eat. Let's go. I ordered a lot. Zeng-ro invited him warmly. No. How could I accept that? There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Didn't you just give me 2 boxes of lychees? Before An could say anything, Zeng-ro dragged him out. She looked like a female bandit, and was scared out of his wits. After watching TV for a while, Suyu didn't hear anything behind him. He called out, and then, after a long time no one responded. Suyu stood up and walked to the floor-to-ceiling window. Wow, good job. The 2 people outside were eating and drinking with a fried chicken drumstick and a can of beer each. And are you betraying me? Suyu opened the door and walked over with his hands clasped behind his back. He glanced at Zeng-ro and then at An. Chapter 32:23. Ahem. President Su, you're exaggerating. An almost choked on the drumstick in his mouth and stood up in fright. Suyu, what are you doing? You won't eat with us and won't let others eat with us. Are you saying the grapes are sour because you can't eat them? Zeng-ro defended An. I'm saying the grapes are sour because I can't eat them? Are you kidding me? Do you think I'll eat your junk food? Suyu pointed at the fried chicken and beer and said righteously. President Su, don't you often eat with pudding and little bean? How is it junk food? And looked aggrieved. Shut up. I'll teach you a lesson later. Suyu glared at An, thinking this guy was good at undermining him. I thought young Master Su only had a bad temper. Now it seems you're narrow-minded. Humph. Yeah. I'm narrow-minded. So why are you still here? Get out. Suyu tried to drive her away. Why should I leave? I haven't had enough fun. I came here to travel. Can't I go camping? You can go camping. Why do you have to do it in front of my house? Suyu argued with Zeng-ro like a child. I like an okay? Boo. Please. I don't want to be the scapegoat. And was so scared that his face turned pale. If Zeng-ro was an ordinary person it would be fine. But An couldn't handle a woman with such a background, so he didn't dare to think too much about it. Besides, he could tell Zeng-ro came here for Suyu. If you marry An, I'll give you 10 Lamborghinis, Suyu said generously. Who wants your Lamborghinis? Do Do you think only the Su family is rich? Look at your face. Humph. I don't want to talk to you. And let's continue drinking. I don't think so. President Su, why don't you sit down and drink with us? And felt the atmosphere was strange today. I don't eat junk food. Thank you. You guys go ahead. Then Su Yu turned and walked into the door. Miss Singh, our boss seems to be angry. I'll go in and take a look. I'm fine. Don't be nervous. Zheng Ro acted as if she knew Su Yu very well. Less than 5 minutes after going in, Su Yu came out in a new set of clothes. He grabbed his car keys and headed straight for the garage. Then he drove the car out. President Su, where are you going? Shall I drive? And stood up slowly. Su Yu didn't reply at all. He stepped on the accelerator and the car sped away. Only a gust of car exhaust was left behind. Zheng Ro and Shaoan coughed violently. Su Yu is so funny. Is he angry? Zheng Ro laughed wildly, not behaving like a lady at all. I don't know if I'm angry or not, but I know I'm not far from death. Xiaoyan pouted. Humph. Don't be afraid. I've got your back. Don't worry. Auntie Su Yu's aunt likes me very much. He watched me grow up. Su Yu won't go too far. Miss Zheng, you're so excellent. Why do you have to pester our President Su? He's troubled. And also thought this woman had gone too far. Su Yu isn't here now. There's something we need to talk about. What is it? And froze. Zheng Ro's words seemed to have a hidden meaning. I heard he's been in love with a woman for years. Is that true? Zheng Ro suddenly lowered her voice and asked. Chapter 32-24. Miss Zheng this. And didn't seem to want to talk about Su Yu's private matters. Don't worry. I know everything I want to know about your boss. He's been in love with her for several years. Who doesn't know about it? It's easy for me to find out anything. I just want to hear the complete Su Yu from you, the real Su Yu, not the Su Yu that the media made him out to be, or the perfect Su Yu that the elders said he was. It's not that I don't believe that a person has no flaws, so you don't have to be nervous. Miss Zheng, you want to know about President Su so much. Do you have a plan? Yes. If I didn't, why would I come here and argue with him and get scolded? Zheng Ro smiled. Miss Zheng, are you interested in President Su's family background like those socialites? And asked tentatively. Well, although the Su family is indeed prominent, our Zheng family isn't bad either. Can be said that our ancestors were nobles. My great-grandfather's generation were all nobles in the Qing dynasty. All these years our family has never lacked money, even during the turmoil of war. So, I find it a little ridiculous that you're talking about his family background. If that's the case, why are you so interested in President Su? Not only was in Su Yu's bodyguard and assistant, but he was also like a brother to him most of the time. Regarding this woman's sudden appearance and her eagerness to Su Yu, and really felt that it was a conspiracy. Or there was another green tea bitch. The lessons from Jian Tong and Zhao Qingyao were still fresh in his mind. He remembered that once Su Yu was drunk and chatted with An. When they talked about socialites and said, President Su, even if you don't like them, it's good that they like you. Wasn't it good to flirt with them? At least this was what a rich man's son should do. However, Su Yu said very seriously that he wasn't interested in these women. If he treated them well, they would take advantage of him and think that she was a young lady of the Su family. When the time came, it would be a small matter to create trouble for Huamin. Only then did An come to a realization. As it turned out, Zhao Qingyao, Jian Tong, and the others hadn't caused any harm to Su Yu. However, it was true that they were both deeply hostile towards Huamin because Su Yu was deeply in love with Huamin. Therefore, in order not to create unnecessary enemies for Huamin, Su Yu not only refused to fall in love, but also cut off all ambiguous relationships. At that time, Shaoan felt that his boss was really an infatuated man. He didn't know why Zheng Ro had come, so he wouldn't believe her words easily. How should I put it? And I'm here for Su Yu. You might not believe me even if I tell you the reason. Zheng Ro smiled and took a sip of beer. And didn't say anything and just listened to her quietly. When I was in college I liked a guy. He was recognized as the most handsome guy in our school. Coincidentally, he was in the same class as me. He was handsome, good at studying and good at basketball. A lot of girls liked him. At that time, I always thought that he was a man of substance and wouldn't like those ordinary girls. What happened later? And was interested in Zheng Ro's story. Later I wrote him a love letter. I've been like this since I was a little girl. In my mother's words, I'm a female bandit. Zheng Ro smiled. Did the most handsome boy agree? How should I put it? He didn't say yes, but he didn't say no either. At that time I didn't understand, but now I think it was ambiguous. He was more than a friend but not a lover. Xing laughed self-mockingly. You broke up? And saw that Xing was a bit sad. It probably wasn't a good memory. Chapter 32:25. We didn't officially date, so how could we break up? At that time he was nice to me. Like all couples, we didn't make our relationship public, but he was nice to me. Sometimes we would sneak out to eat snacks and go to the night market. I went to his matches and even got someone to buy him a pair of limited edition Jordan basketball shoes. At that time I felt happy. I thought I would get married after graduating from college like all the lucky girls. Not speaking, and sipped his beer silently and listened to Xing story quietly. He didn't know why Xing told him this when they weren't close. But in fact, some words were only suitable for strangers. Because of my special identity, I always kept a low profile in school. My dad always sent people to protect me in secret. In order not to attract attention, I always took a taxi home after school and didn't need the family car to send me home. So, at that time, the boy I liked thought that I was just a working-class girl in the city. So, near graduation, when everyone was busy looking for a job, he told me one day that he wanted to go abroad. Xing looked at him with a complicated expression and continued to smile, but her smile was still bleak. When he said that, I was so happy. In fact, I wanted to say, I'll go wherever you go. I'll always be with you. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to say it because he said, I'm sorry, Ruru. It wasn't easy for me to get to where I am today. I don't want to give up. I want to go higher and further. I can't waste my youth in this small city. What happened then? And asked in a low voice. After that, he left. At that time, I thought that he wanted to leave me because he wanted to go abroad. Later, when I returned to the dormitory, my good friend told me that he had gotten together with a girl from another faculty. That girl looked very ordinary and was not talented, but her family was rich. Her father ran a supermarket chain and had tens of millions. He got together with that girl, and the girl's father sent them to study in America. Then why didn't you tell him who you were? And felt that with Xing background, most men would be scared to death. It didn't matter. If I told him, he would stay because of my identity and it wouldn't be love, Xing said gloomily. After that, you two separated just like that. That's right. The funny thing was that a few years later, when he returned from his studies, the girl's family went bankrupt. He broke up with her again and married a female military doctor. His father-in-law arranged for him to be a prosecutor in the procuratorate. This man is really stepping on women all the way to get to the top. Shaoan felt that although he was just a bodyguard, he didn't have to live so cowardly. What's even funnier is that last year on my dad's birthday, a lot of people came to my house. Through someone's recommendation, he bought a high-quality tea set as a gift for my dad, hoping that my dad would support him. When he saw me, his expression, You must be shocked, right? Shaoan asked. I wasn't shocked. My reaction was, stupid. Xing took another sip of beer and said. He must regret that he didn't continue to be with you. Yeah. Anyway, he told me. Ruru, I didn't know, you're Secretary Zheng's daughter, said Xing. Then do you think he ever loved you? I'm not sure. It's been so many years and I don't want to look into it. It's just a story about a heartless man and a stupid woman, Xing said mildly. So, what's the connection between your story and your interest in our President Su? And brought the topic back to the main point. Chapter 32:26. The point is, after that incident I never fucking believed in love again. But later on, I accidentally heard about Su Yu's story from Auntie Su. Our President Su's story? And was speechless. Yeah, your young Master Su's unrequited love for a female doctor for several years. All right. Shaoan finally had an idea. To be honest, I've heard so much gossip about Su Yu that I'm sick of it. There's a lot of gossip going around in the circle on the internet and on Weibo. Anyway, there's a lot of gossip. But I trust Auntie Su and know that she wouldn't exaggerate. When she told me about Su Yu, I was shocked that he pointed a gun at his head to protect Huamian. That incident was real, it wasn't a rumor, and said, I know, that's why I said I was shocked. Compared to the heartless jerk who abandoned his girlfriend for his future, Su Yu was willing to risk his life for a girl who didn't like him. At first I thought it was stupid, but Su Yu isn't stupid. Later on I believed a saying. What saying? All meetings in this world are reunions after long separation. Maybe Su Yu had a relationship with her in his previous life, and that's why he's like this in this life. Our President Su truly loves Dr. Hua and he loves her to the core. But he's never broken up a family. Right now, President Su is good friends with Dr. Hua and Dr. Hua's husband, and quickly explained for his boss. I know. That's why, at that moment, I wanted to meet this legendary infatuated jerk. President Su has never been nice to women he doesn't like. You'll know when you've known him for a long time. I'm sure you'll feel the difference. When you see that President Su treats everyone but Dr. Hua well, you'll feel bad. So I advise you to back off. Whether it's for the sake of the Su family or President Su's true nature, I don't think he's a good match for you. Kid, you look dumb, but when you talk about principles you're quite smart. Xing Ro bit her lip and smiled. I'm just trying to be nice. Miss Xing, you're young, pretty and have a powerful family. You can find any man you want. Why waste your time on President Su? How do you know I'm wasting my time? How do you know Su you won't fall in love with me? Xing Ro smiled. From what I know of him, Dr. Hua is still alive. Even if Dr. Hua is dead, he won't fall in love with anyone. I'm not exaggerating. Su Yu is such a stubborn person, Xing Ro sighed. Yes, so in the past few years many socialites, actresses, young models, hosts and internet celebrities have tried their best to get close to him, but no one succeeded. The only few scheming bitches who tried to get close to him died miserably in the end. So, I advise you not to dig a hole for yourself. I like challenging things. Now that you mention it, I'm more interested in Su Yu. Well, I wish you good luck. Shaoan sighed and didn't say much. He couldn't tell if Zheng Ro was a good or bad woman since he didn't know her well. He had to observe her character. But did President Su like her? Su Yu went out to drink with Tang Chuan and Wei Liao, but they were all busy. One was having a family gathering and the other was driving to the neighboring city to watch the Lantern Festival. Just as she was about to ask some rich heirs to drink with her, she received a call from Shin Mingxi. Lord Su, do you have time to come out for a drink? Shin Mingxi's voice was deep. Chapter 32:27. I'm free. Wait for me. Ancient bar, top floor booth. After making a reservation, Su Yu drove to the bar. Maybe because he was getting older, Su Yu rarely went to nightclubs. His gatherings with Wei Liao and the others had gradually become hot pot restaurants and tea houses. Finally, he wanted to drink, but he chose the low-key ancient bar. Su Yu had just sat down and ordered the drinks when Shin Mingxi arrived. Dressed in white, he had the same taste as Su Yu. The two of them were like two clear streams in the night. How come you're in the mood to drink with me today? Su Yu chuckled. I just feel a little depressed. Are you still worried about Wei Ying? Let's not talk about it. Come on, let's drink. Shin Mingxi didn't say more. He raised his glass and drank with Su Yu. While chatting with him, Shin Mingxi learned that he had sent Hui Yanyan's daughter abroad. Isn't that a good thing? That kid doesn't look likable. Isn't it better that she went abroad? You're an unmarried young man. It's not good to have a tail following you around. Shin Mingxi nodded. That's true, but I still feel that I let the child go because of my selfishness. I thought that the child would cry for a long time when she left, but to my surprise she was very calm. She didn't say anything and didn't shed a single tear. The kid has a temper, Su Yu said with a chuckle. She must be mad at me. She never called me when she was there. When I called her she was very cold. Hee hee. You're the classic example of kindness begetting enmity. You raised her for so long and now she's your enemy. I don't regret taking care of the child. After all, I was fated to be with Hui Yanyan. However, Tiantian's personality is indeed a little twisted. I don't want her to grow up to be like her mother. You should be treated well, but if you don't, you deserve to die. This kind of thinking is very scary. That's right. Isn't this the kind of thing that's been reposted on WeChat recently? I gave you one candy and gave others two. You're unhappy and hate me. But you don't know that others have also given me candy, but you didn't give me anything. That's why people, regardless of gender, age or gender, if they don't know how to be grateful, they're finished. This person is basically an ingrate. Yes, but she's still a child. I just hope that she can study hard and be a good person after going abroad. The child lives in the dormitory? Is there anyone taking care of him? Yes. Wei Ying contacted the school for me and found a friend there to be my guardian. We know each other very well. Wei Ying is quite generous this time. If it were me, I wouldn't care about Hui Yanyan's daughter at all. Yes. Things seems to have changed. Sometimes I feel like I've been separated from her for a lifetime. Do you regret the divorce? Siyu asked nosily. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. But people like me don't have the right to regret. I made a mistake and have to bear the consequences. It's nothing. You're quite forgiving. Don't talk about me. What about you? I heard that you have a girlfriend and moved in with her. You read the gossip news? Suyu glanced at Shin Mingxi in disdain. How can I not know the news? I heard the employees talking about it in the cafeteria at noon. Then your employees are really out of their minds to talk about their boss's buddy behind his back. Suyu chuckled. Don't talk nonsense. Is it true this time? Are you really ready to forget Huamin? Shin Mingxi asked Suyu. Chapter 32-28. Are you kidding me? Of course it's fake, Suyu denied. I knew it. You've been so stubborn for the past few years. Why would you suddenly? Shin Mingxi chuckled at this point. This crazy woman is not my cup of tea. I know. Then why did you ask? Suyu chuckled. Let's drink. Young Master Shin seemed to be in a complicated mood tonight. He wanted to talk more with Suyu, but he didn't know where to start. Maybe he hadn't thought it through yet, so he was conflicted. At South Hill Manor, when Qin Chu got off work, he drove home with his wife and children, escorted by 2 bodyguards. After returning home, Qin Chu paid extra attention to Huamin's safety. He knew that although Huasiqian was under his control, there were people out there who were more terrifying than Huasiqian. He had to deal with them. And those people were a bigger threat to Huamin and their family. When the family of 3 returned home, Qin Chu's mother had prepared a sumptuous dinner. Oh, it smells so good. Grandma, what did you make? Little Bean asked as soon as she entered the house. You have the best nose, little girl. Old Madame Qin smiled and pinched Little Bean's little face. Come on, Grandma. I'm so hungry, Little Bean said coquettishly. Dumplings. Are you happy? Isn't this my daddy's favorite food? Especially since Grandma made it herself. So Grandma is biased towards her son. You little brat. You make it sound like you don't like them. I like them too. I'm not picky. As long as it's good, I like it. With that, Little Bean skipped into the living room and threw herself into her grandfather's arms, continuing to act like a spoiled child. You two go wash your hands. It's time to eat. Mrs. Qin looked at her son and daughter-in-law. Mom, you made dumplings again. Well, I heard from the kitchen yesterday that you wanted to eat dumplings with pickled vegetables. Qin Chu's mother said lovingly. I'm just saying. Mom, you're working too hard. Huamin felt a little apologetic. Although she was pregnant, she didn't want to torment everyone because of her own selfishness. This was especially true for grannies who were not young anymore. It was a waste of time for the elderly to personally knead the dough, mix the meat stuffing and wrap the dough. Although there were maids at home in order to maintain the original smell, the old lady still did most of the work herself. So Huamin felt a little guilty. Listen to what you're saying. We're family. You're our child now, just like Chu. We'll make whatever you want to eat. Go wash your hands. The old man urged. Huamin happily held Qin Chu's hand and walked to the bathroom on the first floor. When he walked past Pudding, he saw that Pudding was holding her phone and didn't know what to do. Pudding, what time did you come back? In the afternoon. You were at Imperial Star the whole time? You stayed the whole day? Huamin was a little surprised. Yeah. I was in Handsome Sue's office at noon. I went to watch the artists rehearse in the afternoon. You're very busy. Why? Are you interested in acting? Huamin asked Pudding with a smile. In fact, it was just a casual question. Mom, I'll talk to you about this later. Go wash your hands first and let's eat. You make it sound like it's not a big deal. Huamin smiled and didn't think it was a big deal. During the meal, Pudding started gossiping again. Grandpa, Grandma, I have good news to announce. What good news? Mrs. Qin looked puzzled. If you and Grandpa give me 1,000 yuan each, I'll tell you. And you sis, you're the richest. Give me 10,000 yuan or I won't tell you. Pudding smiled proudly. Chapter 32-29. I definitely can't give you the money. It's up to you whether you want to tell me or not. I'm not interested. Pudding refused without hesitation. Daddy, look at your eldest daughter. She's such a jerk. Pudding was displeased. It's hard for you to blackmail your sister. Huamin was amused. Forget it. Grandma, give me the money and I'll tell you secretly. Pudding glanced at her grandparents. Grandma, you don't have to give her the money either. With her mouth, she'll tell you even if you don't give her the money. She won't be able to hold it in for long. Why waste money? Pudding interrupted. Qin Zhaozhao, you're such a jerk. Not only are you not giving the money, but you're also instigating Grandpa and Grandma. Are we still sisters? If you're sisters, you shouldn't ask for money. Grandpa and Grandma are so good to you. How can you ask for money? Shame on you. Pudding retorted. Hey you. Pudding was speechless. Stop it. That's enough, you two. Stop arguing, my head hurts. How about this, let's each take a step back. 1,000 yuan per person is indeed a bit too much. How about this, Grandpa will give you 500 yuan for you to announce the good news to everyone, okay? Qin Chu's father smiled as he took out 5 100 yuan bills from his old shirt and placed them on the table. 500 yuan? That's too little. It's not even enough for a few bowls of Haagen-Dazs. Pudding pouted. Quit while you're ahead. Grandpa is being kind by giving you 500 yuan. Otherwise, I won't even give you 500 yuan. Pudding reached out to take the money. However, Pudding quickly snatched it away. Qin Zhaozhao, don't even think about taking my money. Pudding didn't really want to take the money. She just wanted to provoke Pudding. As expected, Pudding couldn't hold it in anymore. Granddaughter, now that you've taken Grandpa's money, shouldn't you tell us the good news? Mrs. Qin picked up a dumpling with her chopsticks and placed it in Huamin's bowl. Huamin looked at his grandmother, touched. The good news is that I went with Mommy for a prenatal checkup today. The auntie who did the ultrasound said that Mommy is pregnant with a little brother. Is it true? Man, is what the child said true? Mrs. Qin looked a little excited. Yeah, Mian, is what Little Bean said true? Qin Chu's father looked a little agitated. Little Bean, who told you to talk nonsense? Huamin was a little embarrassed. Originally, she only wanted to tell Mr. Qin about the results. She didn't expect to spread the news. After all, if the results were reversed, it would be a huge slap in the face. However, she didn't expect that Little Bean would betray her immediately. However, what Huamin didn't understand was that he clearly remembered that he didn't tell Little Bean or Qinjia. Where did this little girl get the news from? I'm not talking nonsense. It's all true. Who told you that? Huamin looked at his daughter in confusion. Does it even need to be said? Mommy was going to go home after the prenatal checkup, but she suddenly changed her mind and went to find Daddy. She was smiling the whole way, so something good must have happened. She must be pregnant with a boy. You're going to give birth to a prince for our family, Little Bean guessed. Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Yeah, our Little Bean is so smart, Qin Chu praised proudly. Mommy, is what Little Bean said true? Pudding was very calm. She tilted her head and asked Huamin. I'm not sure. It's just a temporary prenatal checkup. Maybe my colleague said that to comfort me. Don't take it too seriously. Huamin was a little embarrassed. That's impossible. The equipment at Southside has always been very advanced. Mian, you don't have to be embarrassed. Qin Chu's father seemed very excited. After all, he didn't even dare to think that he would have the chance to have a grandson in his lifetime. Yeah, Mian, just tell your dad and me the truth so that we don't have to guess. Qin Chu's mother was also very excited. Chapter 32:30. Mom, the preliminary examination at the hospital shows that it's a boy. But it's not 100% accurate, so don't get your hopes up. Huamin didn't want to be too sure. To be honest, if Little Bean didn't tell anyone about it, she wouldn't have told anyone. Huamin was a relatively low-key person. It wasn't her style to go around telling people that she was pregnant with a boy. Although Huamin had emphasized that it might not be accurate, she told everyone not to get their hopes up. But when Qin Chu's parents heard this, they were still very happy. Oh, that's great. Who's dad? Our Qin family has a descendant. Yeah. I didn't even dare to think that I could hold a grandson. I thought we were already very happy with 2 big babies. God is really good to our Qin family. Qin Chu's parents looked very excited. Ashamed and shy, Huamin leaned her head on Qin Chu's shoulder. Honey, what should I do? I'm not used to it. Mom and Dad have such a big reaction. Calm down. They're old. It's normal for them to be happy, Qin Chu comforted her. Mommy, That means we'll have a little brother in the future, right? Pudding continued to ask. Yeah. Theoretically, yes. But don't worry, Pudding. Even if we have a little brother, your daddy and I will still treat you and your sister well. Huamin wanted to comfort the child, afraid that she would lose her balance. Mommy, you worry too much. I'm very happy. I think we'll have a scapegoat in the family. My sister and I will have a successor. Chin Chu, Huamin, haha. Sis, you're right. I think so too. I'll give my little brother a nickname Little Black Pot. Is that okay? Little Bean said. Little Black Pot? Or would a small pot sound better? Pudding said. No. It's not cute enough. I think a little scapegoat would be cuter. At the dinner table, the two sisters began to talk about their younger brother's future nickname. Chin Chu and Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Hubby, I have a bad feeling about this. Huamin lowered her voice and whispered into Chin Chu's ear. What premonition? I think our baby won't have a good life after he comes out. These two sisters aren't easy to deal with. Don't worry, I believe that the son born from our genes won't be that useless. That's true. Huamin nodded in agreement. So let them hurt each other. Chin Chu said calmly. Ah, you're so naughty, Mr. Chin. Just like that, the family ate the dumplings made by old Madam Chin in an extremely happy atmosphere. Huamin had a great appetite and ate 15 dumplings in one go. He was stuffed. When they went upstairs, Chin Chu carefully put his arm around her waist and helped her walk upstairs. Little Bean stayed in the living room and watched TV with Grandpa. Pudding quietly followed her parents upstairs with her cell phone. After Chin Chu and Huamin entered the bedroom, Chin Chu turned around and was about to close the door when he saw Pudding standing at the door. Pudding, why are you here? Daddy, I have something that I need to ask for your and Mommy's opinion on. So serious. Chin Chu smiled and squatted down to pick up his daughter. Pudding rarely acted like a spoiled child and was mature most of the time. However, no matter how smart and sensible she was precocious. In Chin Chu's eyes, she was just a child. Daddy, I'm serious. It's really a big deal. How old are you? Chin Chu lovingly kissed his daughter's cheek, overflowing with fatherly love. Chapter 32-31. Super big. Pudding used the word super to describe it. In the end, Chin Chu decided to listen carefully to what his daughter was going to say. Honey, don't go into the bathroom yet. Our daughter has something important to tell us, Chin Chu said. Oh. Huamin was about to enter the bathroom with a towel when he turned back. He sat on the bed and looked at the father and daughter at the door. Chin Chu carried Pudding in and put her on the sofa. Then he sat down next to her. Daddy, go and close the door. I don't want others to hear. Chin Chu got up and closed the door. Then they sat facing each other as if they were holding a shareholders' meeting. Miss Chin Zhaozhao, can you tell us now? Huamin looked at his daughter with amusement. There are a lot of things I want to say, but I'm not a long-winded girl, so I'm going to simplify it and get to the point. First, Daddy, Mommy, I started a company. Huh? What? Huamin was confused and shocked. Chin Chu was calm. He glanced at Huamin and emphasized, Your daughter started a company. Yes, Daddy's right, Pudding confirmed. Are you kidding me? Huamin thought it was a bit ridiculous. How old was Pudding? Mommy, I'm serious, Pudding said. Okay, go on. What's the company you started? What's its nature? How much is it registered? Where did you start it? Huamin asked a series of questions. Mommy, this is also the second point I want to talk about. I didn't open this company myself. I bought it. To put it simply, I bought a ready-made company from someone else. I took it back and integrated it myself. Pudding, where did you get so much money? Do you know how much it costs to buy a company? Huamin seemed a little excited. Mommy, the company does have a lot of money, but I've also made a lot of money from the stock market. Plus, you and Daddy gave me the capital and the New Year's money that everyone gave me over the past few years. Although it's not enough, handsome Sue lent me the rest. I said I'll pay him back in the future. You even borrowed money from Sue Yu? Huamin felt that this was too exciting. Honey, calm down. Let our daughter finish. Chin Chu had always been very calm. Money isn't the most important thing now. The most important thing is this company. Hua Xiqian's company, which is actually a mess, the Hua Corporation, Pudding said. At this moment, Huamin once again felt like he had suffered a heavy blow. What? You bought the Hua Corporation? Who told you to do this? Obviously, Huamin didn't agree with his daughter's actions. Mommy Huasiqian has transferred a lot of his assets to the Swiss bank. Now the whole corporation is only an empty shell with a bunch of abandoned employees. Theoretically, by taking over the whole corporation, I've solved the unemployment problem of many employees. This is a good thing, understand? Pudding, you're still a child. How can you carry such a big banner? Mommy, didn't you tell me that we should act according to our abilities? Huamin stood up excitedly and said to his daughter in a loud voice. Mian, sit down. Don't scare the child. Qin Chu hurried over and put his arm around his wife's shoulders. Mommy, I know what I'm capable of. I'm confident that I can bring the whole corporation back to life. Please trust me. Why should I trust you? Pudding, don't be so stubborn. I'll ask your daddy to help you get rid of this company. Huamin made a prompt decision. No. I'd rather die than take it. Pudding seemed to have made up her mind. The mother and daughter confronted each other and the atmosphere was very tense. Chapter 32-32. Pudding, you won't listen to mommy anymore? Huamin felt hurt. Daddy, please say something for me. Pudding looked at Qin Chu as if she had been wronged. Qin Chu turned around and put his arm around Huamin's shoulder. Honey, listen to me. I know about Pudding's company. You knew? Then why didn't you tell me? Huamin looked angry. Calm down and listen to me. Huasiqian's company is an empty shell. Pudding was willing to take over because she helped a lot of employees who were about to lose their jobs. Secondly, she felt that since the company shares your surname, she still has feelings for it. Secondly, she's still young and can't be the legal representative. That's why she used our mother's name. Our mother? Huamin frowned slightly. My mother-in-law, your mother. My mother? What? Huamin was even more confused. He didn't seem to understand Pudding's intention. Pudding, tell mommy why she used your grandmother's name. Qin Chu glanced at his daughter and gave her a look. Pudding immediately stood up and replied emotionally, because I feel that the whole corporation owes my grandmother. When she was young, Hu Jinghai always let her down. I want to get justice for her. To be honest, Huamin was very happy to hear the child's words. She was only 3 years old and could think so much. She definitely wasn't an ordinary child. Pudding, I know you mean well, but you're too careless. You're still so young. How can you run a company by yourself? I'm not running it alone. Daddy can help me and so can Handsome Sue. Honey, we've said before that we won't force our children to learn anything. As long as they like it, we'll support them. I don't see what Little Bean likes yet, but our Pudding is really interested in finance. She's been making money from the stock market and has saved a lot of money in the past few months. She also has a unique vision. Maybe this is the so-called talent. If our children like it, why should we deny her wish? But Huamin was still worried. Mommy, I won't do anything bad. Don't worry, I didn't start the company to make money. I really just like it and want to see how capable I am. Mian, think about yourself. How stubborn were you when you were a doctor? Qin Chu asked her. Huamin lowered his head. He seemed to have been convinced by the father and daughter. Pudding looked at her father gratefully and bowed to thank her father for persuading her mother. Then she continued, now that we've talked about the company, let's talk about the second one. You're still coming? Huamian was a little scared. He was really afraid that his daughter would tell him that she wanted to build a rocket or something. He felt like he couldn't control the kid any. Daddy? Pudding begged Qin Chu for help again. Go ahead. Daddy's listening. I went to Imperial Star today and talked about a project with Handsome Sue, Pudding said happily. What project? Qin Chu asked. I want to invest in a new movie. The lead actress is a newcomer in Handsome Sue's company. I've seen her web dramas. She's very good at acting. I think she'll be famous. Go on. Qin Chu took out a pack of cigarettes and was about to light it when he remembered that his pregnant wife was next to him. Therefore he put the cigarette back, as if he was reluctant to part with it. It's okay. I'm not afraid of the smoke, Huamin said with a smile. Mommy, you're thinking too much. Daddy's not afraid of the smoke, he's afraid of his son. Pudding chuckled. Chapter 32-33. Haha. Honey, do you not want us anymore now that you have a son? Pudding, whose side are you on? Did you forget who spoke for you just now? Qin Chu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Daddy, Mommy, let's continue what we were talking about. Handsome Sue and I invested in this movie and we'll split the profits 50-50. The money problem is solved. Continue. Chin-Chu knew that his daughter always put the main point at the end of her speech. My last point is that I want you and Little Bean to participate in this movie. What? Hua-min was excited again. You want to act in a movie? Chin-Chu didn't seem very happy this time. He always knew how complicated the entertainment industry was. His family didn't lack money and he couldn't let his daughter go down that path even if they liked it. No, I don't agree. Hua-min rejected immediately. Me too. Chin-Chu was obviously on his wife's side this time. Listen to me. What I mean is that Little Bean and I are only guest stars, not the main characters. We want to act in the movie so that we can recreate the characters. This is the first movie I've invested in and I have a feeling that it will be a hit. I want Little Bean and I to participate in it as a memento. It's really just a memento. Daddy, I don't like acting and I won't be an actress, let alone enter the entertainment industry. You and Mommy don't need to worry about this, Pudding promised. That's still not enough. Aren't you too conspicuous enough? I don't want more people to find out about you, Hua-min said. The twins had been kidnapped twice and it was Hua-min's nightmare. How could he bear to let his daughters show up in public? Your mommy is right. You two should keep a low profile. Chin-Chu agreed with Hua-min. Mommy, but I've already told the director. How can I break my promise to others? Pudding, how many more things do you want to do? Hua-min was a bit angry. No, this is the last one. I hope Daddy and Mommy can agree. Did Sue agree to everything you did? Hua-min asked her. Yes. Handsome Sue knows all about it. So you've already made up your mind and now you're talking to us about it. Is this acting first and reporting later? Hua-min continued to question. No, I told Handsome Sue that I'll discuss it with Daddy and Mommy when we get home. If you don't agree, I won't do it even if I want to. With that, Pudding lowered her head in frustration. She knew that her strict mother wouldn't agree so easily. Because in Mommy's eyes, these things were just nonsense. For a long time Hua-min didn't say anything. He only sighed slightly. Mion, I know what you want to say. You want to say that our daughter is excellent and won't do anything stupid. As parents we have to support her dreams. Hua-min glanced at Chin-Chu. Yes, I know that although you seem to have a lot of opinions on the surface, you actually think the same way. Mommy, please. I beg you. For the first time Pudding spoke softly. She didn't even lower herself when she did or said something wrong. It was obvious that this child really wanted to do these things. Fine, if you want to do it, then do it. Mommy, you agree? Pudding looked up and asked excitedly. Yes, but I only have one request. You're still young and can't do anything stupid. Daddy will help you manage the company. Okay, for sure. Pudding smiled brightly. Okay, if that's the case, then go out. Don't disturb us. Chin-Chu smiled. Thank you, Daddy. Love you. Pudding quickly kissed Chin-Chu on the cheek and opened the door and ran out. You spoil your daughter too much. Hua-min looked at his husband with blame. Don't I spoil you? Chin-Chu asked back. Suddenly Hua-min's expression changed. He covered his stomach with both hands and screamed. Chapter 32-34. What's wrong, Mion? Hua-min. Hua-min's sudden change in expression scared Chin-Chu. He kicked me hard, Hua-min stammered. Who? Chin-Chu didn't know how to react. Your son, Chin-Chu. After a while Chin-Chu finally realized what was going on and laughed heartily. That little bastard. When he comes out I'll teach him a lesson. How dare he bully Mom? The kid is so naughty at such a young age. What's going to happen to him in the future? Hua-min held her stomach and laughed. She remembered that Little Bean and Pudding weren't this naughty. After dealing with Pudding the couple took a shower and went to bed. In the middle of the night Hua-min woke up from thirst. Her mother-in-law's dumplings were delicious, but they were a little salty. Hua-min got up to get a glass of water. When she opened her eyes she vaguely saw Mr. Chin sitting on the sofa by the window. Honey, why are you awake? Chin-Chu turned around surprised. I want to drink water. I'm thirsty. Don't move. I'll get you some water. I want cold water. It's too cold. Pregnant women can't drink cold water. It'll irritate the stomach. Drink warm, okay? Okay. Seeing her husband so nervous, Hua-min didn't want to be stubborn. Chinchu got up and poured a big glass of water for Huamin from the thermos flask. Then he handed it to her. Honey, why aren't you asleep? After drinking the water, Huamin put down the glass and asked Chinchu curiously. She looked at her phone and saw that it was already 1:30 in the morning. Why was her husband still sitting on the sofa by the window? What was going on? Oh, I'm not sleepy. I was thinking about the company. No matter how important the company's matters are, it's not as important as your health. You should rest quickly. You can't stay up late. As medical students, we should know how bad staying up late is for the body. It will affect the liver's detoxification. Yes, I got it, honey. Chinchu walked over in a good mood. He returned to the bed and hugged Huamin. Huamin turned over and fell asleep again in Chinchu's arms. On the other hand, Chinchu was still unable to fall asleep. After the operation, he no longer relied on drugs to sleep, so he still suffered from insomnia. Although Huamin had returned safely, the knot in his heart couldn't be untied. He always felt that he could lose her at any time. He was very afraid. The more afraid he was, the more nervous he was. The more nervous he was, the more anxious he was. As a result, his brain kept working and he couldn't fall asleep at all. In fact, Chinchu had not been able to rest well these days. Sometimes he could only take a nap when it was almost dawn. But because he hadn't had a good rest, his eyes were dry and sore. However, Huamin didn't know about this. He forbade others to tell Huamin about his illness. Midnight, after drinking with Shin Mingxi, Suyu called a driver to pick them up. To avoid troubling In, Suyu called a designated driver from the bar. On their way back, they parked the car and planned to go straight into the house. When they passed by a tent, Suyu glanced at it curiously. At this moment, the tent suddenly opened and Xingro walked out of the bushes with blood dripping from her nose. Suyu, hurry up and take me to the hospital. My nose is bleeding. Xingro covered her nose with her hand but still couldn't stop the bleeding. Suyu was scared out of his wits. Chapter 32-35. Then what should we do? Suyu looked confused. How would I know? It's not something that can be solved with sanitary pads. Xingro was speechless. I'll call 120 now. Suyu picked up his cell phone. Are you stupid? What if I die when the ambulance comes? Where's your Lamborghini? Isn't it fast? Hurry up and take me to the hospital. I don't want to die here. I haven't left any last words. Pooh. Don't die. If you die in front of my house, how can I live in my house? I can't even sell it, Suyu said. Damn it. Don't you have any sympathy at a time like this? Xingro was exasperated. Suyu looked at the woman and knew she wasn't faking it. So he didn't dare to delay and sobered up a lot after drinking. So he drove the Lamborghini out, hearing the roar of the engine, and woke up and ran out of the house. President Su, what's wrong? This woman's Aunt Flo is here. Huh? And was dumbfounded. Well, I don't know what to say. This woman's Aunt Flo is here. Anyway, she's bleeding. I have to take her to the hospital. I'll go with you, and said. He drove the car out. Suyu didn't refuse. He drove Xingro away as fast as lightning. And drove the BMW Z4 in the garage and followed behind Suyu. Suyu's house was close to the first hospital, but he didn't know if it was because of Huamin. Suyu chose to go to Southside. In the emergency room at Southside, Suyu waited anxiously. Please don't let anything happen to her. If something happens, I'll be the scapegoat. Suyu murmured to himself. I don't think so. I drank with her last night. She'll be fine, right? Wasn't sure. About 10 minutes later, the doctor on night duty walked out. Who's Xingro's family member? I'm her friend. Are you her boyfriend? The female doctor didn't know Suyu. I'm not. Suyu didn't have time to explain. The doctor then asked her, You're not a good boyfriend either. Not only did you let your girlfriend drink so much alcohol, but you also ate so many lychees. Do you know that if you eat too much lychees you'll have a bad nose? That's for sure. It's easy for a child's nasal cavity to accumulate heat. Will anything happen to her? She's fine. She's just too angry. I gave her N4 drip. After the injection she can go home tomorrow morning. Oh, that's good. Do you know how many lychees she ate? The doctor looked at Suyu angrily. Suyu shook his head. She said she ate more than a box, about 6 pounds. The doctor said. Suyu truly did not know what to say at this moment. 6 kilograms. Was this woman still human? Did she say it herself? And asked the doctor. We asked her and gave her a vomit-inducing injection just now. She vomited a lot. Look at your boyfriend. Even if your girlfriend likes to eat lychees, you can't buy so many boxes of them. Isn't this cheating her? I didn't know she could eat so much. Suyu looked wronged. Alright, go in and take a look at her. Young people these days are all foodies. They lose their lives when they see food. Your girlfriend is the same. She can be compared to the girl who fell into the well pipe because she was stunned when she saw food that day. The doctor sighed as she walked out. Suyu and En were speechless. President Su, go in and see her. I'll wait for you at the door. Suyu nodded and pushed open the door to the 4-drip bed next to the ear. Zheng Ro lay there quietly receiving the 4-drip. Fortunately, her nose had stopped bleeding. You ate 6 pounds of lychees? Suyu walked up to her and asked with a dark expression. Chapter 32-36. I didn't. The doctor told me. How dare you lie? Suyu's face was still cold. I didn't lie. The doctor didn't count everything correctly. I ate more than 6 pounds. It was 6 pounds and 6 ounces. Thank you. Suyu, why don't you stuff yourself to death? Suyu scolded. If I die, you won't be able to get away with it. The next day, the media will say that a certain woman covered for the crown prince of the Su family last night for unknown reasons. If the news gets out, people will have wild and fanciful thoughts. Don't bullshit me. Suyu was furious. Hey, I'm a patient. Can't you be gentler to me? Gentler? Do you think a woman like you deserves my gentler treatment? Let me ask you. Are you a reincarnation of a starving ghost? Have you never eaten lychees? Did you come from a mountain valley? You ate 6 pounds at a time. Do you want to die? It was the first time in Suyu's life that he had met such a woman who couldn't finish anything she caught and ended up in the hospital. Fortunately, she was fine. If she really died, the 2 boxes of lychees he gave her would be the culprit. It's really too delicious. I can't help it. I've loved lychees since I was a child, but this is the first time I've eaten one so delicious. It's big and sweet, Zheng Ro said happily. Shut up. Get out of the hospital tomorrow and go back to your own home. Suyu, can you do it? What else can you do except drive me away? Are you afraid of me? Yes. I'm really afraid of you. Missing. Please do me a favor. As the secretary's daughter, you can have any man. Can you stop being a dogskin plaster? Don't do things that disgust me. Suyu, I didn't mean to disgust you. Zheng Ro paused. But what? Suyu saw that she stopped talking halfway and was a little curious. I just want to say that you can treat me as a friend. I just want to stay here for a while. I won't cause you any trouble. I really want to see how you like Dr. Hua. Zheng Ro said the last few words in a very low voice, so Suyu didn't hear them clearly. If you leave, you won't bring me any trouble. Suyu, I didn't mean to disgust you. Really, let's just be friends, okay? I definitely won't clamor to be your wife, and I won't wear suspenders to seduce you. Even if you don't treat me as a woman, it's fine to treat me as a man. Don't chase me away. I'll pay for my own living expenses. I won't ask you for money, okay? Just treat it as if you're renting it to me, okay? Zheng Ro compromised again and again, seemingly trying to persuade Suyu. Zheng Ro, no matter what you want, I can't give it to you, Suyu said directly. I don't want anything. Can't we just be friends? Don't think about me and don't mess with Huamin. Really, I don't want the women around me to mess with Huamin because of me, Suyu warned her. Sure enough, you're deeply in love with her. Zheng Ro finally saw Suyu's persistence in his love. Zheng Ro hadn't met Huamin yet, but Suyu had warned her not to mess with Huamin. But the more he said this, the more Zheng Ro wanted to see Huamin. Suyu, I promise you that I won't mess with Huamin. I'm not a scheming bitch, a hypocrite, or a Virgin Mary. I'm just a normal person who knows how to cry, laugh, and fight. I promise I won't cause you any trouble. Just treat me as your nanny. I'll cook for you and clean your room, okay? Zheng Ro seemed to have made up her mind to stay with Suyu. Her attitude changed and she seemed to have returned to normal. Chapter 32-37. Why are you doing this? Suyu looked at her quietly. Hey Sue, I have a good idea. Your mother, Auntie Sue, and your aunt have high hopes for us and think that we're a couple. Think about it, even if you kick me out, your family will still find other girls to bother you. Instead of that, why don't you find someone you're familiar with? We can reach an agreement. I'll pretend to be your girlfriend and then we'll stay out of each other's way. I'll chat on WeChat and meet online friends and you'll stay out of each other's way. You can bring a girl home for the night. You can have dinner with Dr. Hua and I won't ask you about it. I can be your nominal girlfriend and save you a lot of trouble, okay? Xingrou's eyes lit up and she asked. Sounds good. It's good for me. What about you? What do you want? Suyu stared at Xingrou and asked. To be honest, my dad has been forcing me to get engaged recently. He's been introducing me to a lot of boyfriends. In order to flatter my dad, they can't wait to introduce me to 8 boyfriends a day. I don't like those rich playboys, straight-A students, local tycoons, or second-generation officials. I think we can use this as an excuse to live a few more years of freedom. Wouldn't that be great? Xingrou didn't look like she was faking it. Suyu hesitated. Don't worry. I won't fall in love with you. You're too fierce and not at all gentlemanly. Yelling at women is not my cup of tea. Xingrou added. Suyu was exasperated. Do you watch TV? You know Anai Yang, right? He's my type. He's handsome and kind, but unfortunately, he's already married. I heard he found a nurse, so I'll pay attention to the male artists in your company when I'm free. I've always wanted to find a celebrity boyfriend. Okay. Suyu thought this girl was crazy and might be a die-hard fan who liked to chase after celebrities. But no matter what, Suyu was relieved that Xingrou stopped pestering him. Then you won't turn into a dogskin plaster again, right? Suyu asked her. No, we won't interfere with each other and I won't spend a single cent of your money. Money is a small matter. Just don't interfere with my business and don't talk nonsense to my friends. Of course. And don't talk nonsense to the media. I'll delete it on Weibo right away, Xingrou promised. And don't find trouble with Huamin. Fuck, you're so slow. Didn't I just say it? I'm not deaf. Xingrou was impatient. Alright, remember what you said. So, you agree? Xingrou was delighted. Well, you can stay here for the time being, but if you cause me any trouble, I'll kick you out immediately. Thank you for taking me in, President Su. Xingrou smiled. Because of her sudden hospitalization, Xingrou took the opportunity to get close to Suyu. At least Suyu accepted her proposal. Walking out of the room and immediately came up to him. President Su, how's Miss Zeng? You care about her? Why don't you ask her yourself? President Su, I think Miss Zeng is a good person. She's not as bad as we thought. When An drank with Xingrou, he found this girl was just a girl who had been hurt by love and wasn't a scheming person. I didn't say she was bad, Suyu corrected him. So, you've accepted Miss Zeng? And thought his boss was being protective of her. Chapter 32-38. Accept my ass, seeing his boss's attitude and didn't dare to say anything more. But from that day on, Xingrou's relationship with Suyu changed a little. At least it wasn't as hostile as before. Of course, and didn't know that his boss and Xingrou had reached an agreement. With Suyu's acquiescence, Xingrou didn't live in the tent anymore. She moved into the mansion the day after she was discharged. She lived on the guest floor. And lived on the first floor, Xingrou lived on the second floor and Suyu lived on the third floor. Each of them lived on one floor. Fortunately, Xingrou was a person who kept her promise. She deleted all the posts on Weibo. She deleted all the comments from her fans and even stopped the live stream. She became normal again. Sometimes when she was in a good mood she would make supper for Suyu and Suyu rarely ate, and was the only one who would take a few bites sometimes because he couldn't bring himself to eat. After Huamin came back he was on leave. He planned to go back to work at Southside in a few days. Otherwise he would get moldy at home. The twins were too bored at home, so in the end Qinchu and Huamian agreed to send them to an international school. They went straight to elementary school. Although they had finished the elementary school curriculum, Pudding wanted to go directly to middle school. However, Huamin thought that middle school kids were too young and it would be inconvenient for them to go to middle school. So he didn't agree. Helpless, they didn't dare to disobey their mommy. Thus, they started their elementary school life. They went in the morning and came back in the afternoon. They had Saturday and Sunday off. It wasn't bad. One day Huamin returned to Sky Blessing Court with his chauffeur and bodyguards. Yang Meirong was so happy that she couldn't close her mouth. She made a table full of delicious food for Huamin. Let's wait for Jixin to come back and eat together, Huamin said. Why wait for him? You eat first if you're hungry. Yang Meirong was worried that her pregnant daughter would be hungry. Huamin held his mother's arm and said coquettishly, It doesn't matter even if I'm hungry. Mom, let's wait for a while. Yang Meirong was deeply moved that she had regained her daughter. After Huamin's accident she really had nightmares. She didn't dare to close her eyes for many days. Whenever she thought that her daughter might have died after falling off the cliff, she would burst into tears. Now, looking at the pregnant Huamin, she felt as if a lifetime had passed. It's not easy to have a good life now. You have to live well with Chinchu. Mom, I've been working hard. I've already given birth to 2 children for him. The third is coming soon, Huamin said with a smile. I know you're all still young. I'm just afraid. If there's any change, it'll ruin the good days we have now. Mom, what do you mean by change? Huamin asked tentatively. Yang Meirong placed her hand on the back of her daughter's hand and said meaningfully, They say that marriage is the grave of love. No matter how loving a couple is, after the 7-year itch, they will feel that life is like a pool of stagnant water without passion. The feeling between husband and wife will be like the left hand and the right hand. So you have to be more careful at this time. Be careful that something happens to Chu outside. You also have to be careful of your own feelings. Don't forget your original intentions. Chin Chu won't and neither will I, Huamin promised. Myeonsu, it hasn't had a girlfriend for so long. Does it have something to do with you? Yang Meirong asked. Mom, why are you suddenly bringing this up? I'm not being nosy, but the last time I went to your house, your mother-in-law happened to talk to me about this. I don't know if she did it on purpose or not, but I think, especially since you're pregnant now, it's better for you not to be too close to Suyu. You're now a wife and a mother of children. You have to avoid suspicion. Otherwise, I can introduce someone to him. I think your Auntie Gung's Yumming is a good choice. She's a flight attendant and is pretty. Maybe Suyu will like her? Yang Meirong said to Huamin. Chapter 32-39. Mom, why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? Huamin was speechless. I'm doing this for your own good. If Suyu got married, he'd be able to shut everyone up. But now he's not looking for a girlfriend. Plus, he cares so much about you that even Pudding and Little Bean know about it. You can't go on like this. Chinchu doesn't talk much and thinks a lot. He won't tell you if he's unhappy, but you have to be careful. Okay, Mom, don't talk about it. I've known Suyu for years. I know what kind of person he is. Chinchu and I are even more so. We've been together since high school. We know each other too well. So don't listen to the rumors. You're such a child. Huh? This is your back. When Jixin opened the door, he saw Huamin and his mother sitting in the living room. You're back just in time. Your sister was waiting for you to come back to eat. Sis, you love me that much. I've always loved you. Huamin smiled. Mwah mwah mwah. Jixin pouted cutely. You're in such a good mood. Did something good happen? Huamin could tell that his little brother was different today. Oh yeah, our Dr. Hua is so smart. He's Vice Director Hua now, Huamin corrected him. Ah, good. Our Vice Principal Hua is smart and quick-witted. Everyone loves her. Don't flatter me. What happened? I'll tell you later. Jixin said mysteriously. He took off his jacket and hummed Little Apple's song. Seeing that her children were back, Yang Meong brought out the dishes one after another. Sis, why aren't Pudding and Little Bean here? They're still in piano class. Oh, why did you suddenly come back today? You didn't even send me a WeChat message. What? Do I have to inform you when I'm going back to my parents' home? Huamin was amused. Look at what you're saying. I miss you. Knowing that you're at home, I bought more fruits. Mom is usually very thrifty. Even when I give her pocket money, she can't bear to buy good fruits. She actually bought discounted grapes for me. It's good enough to have something to eat. If it were back when we were young, we wouldn't even have radishes to eat, Yang Meirong interjected. Okay, let's stop here, huh? To prevent his mother from going on another long speech, Jixin quickly stopped talking. Okay, let's eat. Jixin washed his hands and sat down next to Huamin. Sister, eat more meat. You should eat more and give birth to a fat little boy. Huh? Did you put honey on your mouth today? Huamin looked at his younger brother. I've always been this sweet. Don't you think your little brother is a warm guy? I can't tell that you're warm, but you're a little bigger. You've indeed grown a lot taller, Huamin teased. Sis, can you be a little more serious? What's the good news? Hurry up and tell us. Mom and I are waiting. Huamin was worried about Jixin's good news. In fact, she had already guessed what it was. This was because Jixin was a relatively innocent boy. His world was very simple. He had a few friends, a good relationship with his colleagues, and only liked one girl. He didn't mess around. In fact, many girls at GK were interested in him. After all, as the president's brother-in-law, he was very popular. However, the good thing was that Jixin's relationship with women was very decent, which made Huamin worry a lot less. Mom, Sis, Belle and I, we talked about it. We want to get engaged soon. Engaged? Young Mayor Ong froze. Why engagement? Why not marriage? Huamin thought that since Jixin and Bella weren't young anymore, marriage was a matter of time. Chapter 3240. Bella thinks I'm not mature enough, so she wants to give us a trial period. I was the one who suggested the engagement, and I mentioned it many times before she finally agreed. I think our colleagues at GK have been gossiping about us for a long time, and the engagement is to give Bella a legitimate identity. Not bad. I'm happy that you think this way. You're becoming more and more responsible. Huamin smiled. Son, does Bella's family have any requests? According to our customs, they have to pay 88,000 yuan for an engagement, right? The Qin family gave your sister a lot of money back then, so we can't treat Bella badly. Young Mayorong had seen Bella many times and was very satisfied with the girl, even though she was a little older than her son. However, because of her maturity and stability, Jixin would be more reliable in dealing with people in the future. Plus, Bella was someone that even Huamian couldn't stop praising. She was a senior employee at GK, so the two of them were a good match. After they got together, Qin Chu and Huamin were able to take care of everything at GK when they weren't home. Mom, Bella didn't marry me for money. Can you not be so tacky? Jixin looked at his mother and smiled. What does this have to do with being tacky? This is the custom of our place. Even if we don't have money now, we can't mistreat the girl. Her parents worked hard to raise her. Although it's just an engagement and not a marriage, it's still your decision. Whoa, Mom, you're very mature now. Jixin narrowed his eyes. Go away, don't play games with me. What do you think? Yang Merong looked at her daughter beside her. I don't have a problem with it. They can do whatever they want. What did Bella say? Did she have any requests? Huamin asked. Bella said to keep it as low-key as possible. She doesn't want everyone to know. That's like her style. So, sis, I want to hold a simple wedding in our own hotel. We'll invite our own people. Sounds good. Will brother-in-law agree? Jixin asked. Your brother-in-law has always been very open-minded. But wouldn't it be unfair for Bella to do this? Huamin said. Sis, I bought her a 1-carat ring. Although it's not very big, it's very luxurious, but that's the money I saved up after I started working. I didn't rely on you and brother-in-law. Since I'm planning to find a wife, I must have the ability to support a family. You and brother-in-law have taken care of me over the years, and I can't always rely on you guys. Look at Anai Yang. He's about the same age as me, but he's already shouldering the responsibility of taking care of the whole family. I'm also in charge of many affairs in the company now, so I can't be as childish and willful as before. Oh, my little brother has grown up. Not bad, Jing Jixin. Huamin looked at his little brother with gratification. Actually, I've always followed the rules. It's just that I haven't done much. I know that if I wasn't your little brother, I wouldn't even be qualified to be a senior executive at a company like GK. After your accident, I thought a lot about it. I even thought that if something really happened to you, I would take care of Mom, Pudding and Little Bean. Pooh, what nonsense are you talking about? Young Mayorong was anxious. Mom, I was just making an analogy. I only found out later that you've helped me a lot over the years. I can't let you worry about me alone anymore. I'm a man and I want to start a family as soon as possible. Then I can help you and brother-in-law do more and share more of their work. Not bad, it's good that you have this awareness. Have you picked a date for your engagement? Huamin took a sip of his juice and asked Jixin. Chapter 3241. Hee, we don't believe in auspicious dates. We think next Sunday is good. Next Sunday, let me see. Hwamin lowered his head and took out his phone. He opened his calendar and saw that it was the 16th of the lunar calendar. Not bad. It's good. Next Sunday it is. I'll pick out the dishes from the hotel. Just eat whatever you like. It's an engagement party. How can that be? No matter how shabby it is, we can't just eat whatever we want at my brother's engagement party. Leave it to me. Even if we're treating our own employees, we have to eat and drink well. Okay then. Thank you, sis. Don't mention it. Just do your job. Of course. Hwamin was in a good mood when he heard that Jishin was getting engaged. He ate 2 bowls of rice with a big appetite. After dinner, she lazily sat on the sofa and watched TV. Their mother went to the kitchen to clean up. Jishin gave Hwamin some fruit and even cut it into pieces and put it on the coffee table. Sis, Emijim, how do you feel now? Is the boy still naughty in your belly? How do you know it's a boy? Hwamin picked up a grape and looked at Jishin. Little Bean told me. I'm so happy. Humph, you're also so biased. Hwamin looked at Jishin with disdain. Who said that? I don't favor boys over girls, okay? I also like Little Bean and pudding very much. It's just that I think that since you already have 2 daughters, isn't it just right for you to give birth to a boy? Plus, when he grows up, I can take him to play soccer, take a shower, play games, and pick up girls. You're his uncle, but you don't teach your nephew good things. These are the experiences of a boy growing up. I read a story recently and suddenly felt that it's very realistic. What story? Hwamin leaned his head on Jishin's shoulder and acted like a spoiled child. She suddenly lamented how time had passed so quickly. When she was in high school, Jishin was still a young boy. Now, in the blink of an eye, he was about to get engaged. Time was really the most ruthless thing. It was the rhythm of aging people in minutes. It's said that there are 2 men. The production team will give each of them 2,000 yuan to pick up girls. Whoever succeeds in sleeping with the girl will be the winner. The winner will also get an additional 5,000 yuan as a reward. And then, Hwamin was suddenly very curious. He felt that this story was quite interesting. The first guy was more honest. He used 1,500 yuan to buy a phone for the girl and used the remaining 500 yuan to treat the girl to a meal. After the meal, the girl took the 1,500 yuan phone, said thank you and left. In the end, the mission was considered a failure. What about the second guy? Hwamin asked again. The second guy was more ruthless. He spent 1,500 yuan to rent a BMW and used the remaining 500 yuan to buy a Chanel lipstick for the girl for 320 yuan. He also told the girl to wear this color on dates in the future, saying that he likes sexy women. In the end, he used 180 yuan to treat the girl to dumplings. He said that he liked dumplings since he was young, especially when his mother made them. The girl saw him and thought that he was a rich second-generation heir. He knew how to buy luxury lipstick and was very tasteful. Then he liked his mother's dumplings and was very filial and polite. Without saying anything, she got into the car with him. Wow, the second guy is so smart. Hwamin was also a bit surprised. People were getting more and more cunning these days. Yeah, there's a saying on the internet, the longest road I've ever walked is the route you gave me, Jishin said. Classic. Hwamin chuckled. Sis, if big brother Su Yu and brother-in-law met you at the same time, would you still choose brother-in-law without hesitation? Chapter 3242. What's wrong with you guys? Why are you all talking about Su Yu? No, I'm just asking. I'm not asking. Your assumption doesn't make sense, so I won't answer, Hwamin said vaguely and didn't ask further. Hey. It's late. I have to go back. I'll drive you, sis. No, I'll bring a driver and bodyguard. Sis, you're even more popular than the market. Go away. Don't tease me. I'll take care of your engagement dress. Hey. Vice Director Hua, I'll leave it to you. Jishin looked at his sister happily. With a smile, Hwamin got up with his bag, said goodbye to his mother and walked back. In Su Yu's private mansion, Seung-ro, get out here, Su Yu roared at the door of the guest room on the 2nd floor. What's wrong? Seung-ro got up sleepily and opened the door. Is this yours? Su Yu was furious with a pile of underwear in his hand. Yeah. I'm the only girl in the house. If it's not mine, then is it yours? Who told you to dry your underwear on the balcony? Where else can I put it? Don't you know underwear needs to be exposed to the sun to remove bacteria? You know there are always paparazzi at my door, but you still did it on purpose. Don't you know how nasty the posts are? But we're just acting as a couple. If they want to talk about it, then let them, but you don't have to do such a disgusting thing. Why is it disgusting to dry my underwear? Do you wear your underwear after washing them? Zheng Rou retorted. Su, young Master Su, you're so generous. You don't even wash your underwear. You change one every day and throw it away after wearing it. You don't wash it at all. What nonsense are you spouting? That's how it is. I'm not looking for trouble with you anymore, so you shouldn't look for trouble with me either. To be honest, if you weren't from the Su family, you would have been beaten to a pulp the entire day. Su, even in is better than you. Then Zheng Rou slammed the door shut. Hey you woman. Su was about to explode. President Su, we should go now. We'll be late, and reminded him. You fucking came at the right time. You're helping this woman on purpose, aren't you? Su looked at Shaoan. Boss, you can't be like this. You can't vent your anger on me just because you can't win an argument. Shaoan felt wronged. In the end, Su turned around angrily and walked out. Then he got into the car. President Su, Miss Huamin's younger brother's engagement party this week. Are you going? Engagement party? Who's going? Su didn't seem to know. Miss Huamin's younger brother, Mr. Jing Jixin's engagement party. Jixin is getting engaged. Don't you know? Shaoan looked at Su in surprise. How would I know? How did you know? I saw Jing Jixin's WeChat moments. When did you see his WeChat moments? Su was dumbfounded. A long time ago. Let me see it. Before An could speak, Su snatched the phone from him. He opened his WeChat moments and refreshed it. Jixin sent a sweet photo of him and Bella. It said, Bella and I will be getting engaged at GK headquarters GK Hotel next weekend. I'll treat everyone to a glass of wine. Damn, this guy is so low-key. I thought you knew. And said. Huamin didn't tell me. That damned girl. Su was instantly filled with resentment towards Huamin. Maybe Miss Hu didn't plan to treat you? And teased his boss. Chapter 3243. Don't bullshit, Huamin won't do that. Su, you seem to have absolute trust in Huamin. President Su, how much are you planning to give as a wedding gift? So vulgar to talk about money. Jixin doesn't seem like he's short of money. You can't go empty-handed, right? Su rubbed his chin and thought about it seriously. Then he asked what do you think of my modified Ford Mustang? It was a sports car that Su had carefully modified. Anyone who knew cars would fall in love with it at first sight. It was powerful, beautiful, and looked extremely cool. Just like the name of the car, it looked like a wild horse. You're not thinking of giving the Mustang to him, are you? What, do you think it's not good enough? Su asked. No, I just think it's too extravagant. It makes me want to be Miss Hua's little brother, and said quietly. When you get married I'll give you a Ferrari. Su patted An on the shoulder. After knowing about this, Su felt like grass had grown in his heart. So, after the morning meeting he went back to his office and sent Huamin a WeChat message. I heard that Jixin is getting engaged. Oh, you're quite well informed, Huamin replied. Then you see, but you're too heartless. You didn't even tell me. Why did I have to rush over to ask you? Are you trying to pick a fight with me? I didn't have time to tell you, right? I went to bed early last night. I didn't even have time to discuss it with my husband. This morning, I got up early to prepare the dishes and clothes for Jixin's engagement. Is that guy really going to get engaged to that female employee of the company? What, you're not satisfied? What's there to be unhappy about? I'm not the one getting engaged, huh? You've been so proud of yourself recently. You even hung your underwear on the balcony. Su, good job. I didn't know you had such a heavy taste. Huamin laughed. Shoo, don't talk nonsense. Don't listen to the media's nonsense. You've already taken the photo and you're still saying that he's spouting nonsense? Then tell me, is the underwear yours or Anne's? Huamin's question left Su speechless. Alright, I'm just teasing you. But if you really have a girlfriend, don't hide it, okay? We've known each other for so many years. Bring her over for us to see. Okay, I'll take her there when Jixin gets engaged. Su agreed without hesitation. In fact, Su had his own plan. He thought he would take Zheng Rou out with him. Then everyone would know that he had a girlfriend. When he met and talked to Huamin, no one would be suspicious and it would not affect Huamin negatively. Although he knew that this idea was still a bit wrong, so you couldn't control this little thought. That's great. Keep your word. Of course. When have I ever lied to you? Okay. Come early on Sunday and help us with the preparations. Okay. Chapter 32:44. My subordinate is stupid and doesn't know. Amy lowered her head and said cautiously. Lu Yen tilted her head and gave her a meaningful look before she continued. I heard that for women, there are two things in the world that they can't share. Toothbrushes and men. Oh. Amy nodded and pretended she didn't understand. But I'm a generous person. If I treat you well and you treat me well, I don't mind sharing toothbrushes with you. But if it's a man, do you mind? Lu Yen asked Amy. I don't know what you mean. Don't be nervous. I'm just asking. Do you mind sharing a man with your best friend? I've never been in a relationship. I don't know how to answer you. It's just a hypothetical question. Don't take it seriously. I don't think so. After all, love itself is selfish. Everyone wants their man to belong to them alone. No matter if it's a man or a woman, they should mind it unless they're psychopaths. Well said, I think so too. If you're my friend, I can give you money if you don't have it. If you don't have a weapon, I can also give it to you. When you need me, I'll be duty-bound. But if you steal my man behind my back, then I'm sorry, I might kill her. You're right, Amy answered absent-mindedly. Did you order dinner? Lu Yen changed the topic. Yeah. I told the kitchen to prepare it. Do you want it delivered to your room or do you want to eat there? I'll go. Lu Yen stood up. Go and ask Xiao Fei to come with me. I'll wait for him over there. Okay. Amy was excited to hear Xiao Fei's name. Ignoring Lu Yan's subtle expression, she turned and ran to the next room. Lu Yan stood up and changed into a simple dress. Then she went to the revolving restaurant on the top floor. The famous Michelin chef only served her. Lu Yan was extremely picky when it came to food. He could even tell how long the fish had been dead for. If she wasn't picky, she would eat roasted sweet potatoes by the roadside. Therefore, whether the food was good or bad depended on her mood. Young Master Qiao. Amy knocked on the door and called Xiao Fei's name. Sup. Boss wants you to have dinner on the top floor. What about her? She went first. All right. Xiao Fei turned around and walked over. Amy followed behind him cautiously. Ever since Xiao Fei got together with Lu Yan, he had been living a life of luxury. To outsiders, he really looked like Lu Yan's toy boy. But Amy knew that wasn't the case. Xiao Fei's family was extremely large and he lived like a prince in his family. Ever since she married Lu Yan, she didn't have a fixed place to stay. Every day she had to face assassinations from enemies. Many times, if it weren't for Xiao Fei, Lu Yan wouldn't have been able to escape. She said Lu Yan was outstanding because she didn't know Xiao Fei well. Xiao Fei's marksmanship and combat skills were cool. Amy had seen Xiao Fei kill people many times. Not to mention his clean and neat moves. His posture was perfect and gentlemanly. His brutality came from the depths of his heart, a kind of coldness that made people's hearts turn cold. For a man like him to love Lu Yan so deeply, Amy thought Lu Yan wasn't good enough for Xiao Fei. After all, she always ordered Xiao Fei around like a servant. She didn't deserve his love. Young Master Qiao. Amy suddenly called out from behind him. Chapter 32:45. Xiao Fei stopped walking. In the empty corridor, only the two of them stood there. Xiao Fei didn't answer. He was extremely annoyed by Amy. Young Master Qiao, when I was on a mission in Japan, I got this from the Abe Saimai Shrine in Kyoto. He's a famous onmyoji. He'll bless you with health and safety for the rest of your life. Take it with you and it'll always bless you. Amy handed over a cute amulet with both hands. It was red, a typical Japanese amulet. Xiao Fei glanced at it but didn't take it. What do you mean by this? Xiao Fei asked quietly. I don't mean anything. Amy was a bit flustered. She had never been in a relationship before and didn't know how to get along with guys. Lu Yan didn't allow her subordinates to date her own people, so she kept a distance from the men on her side. It wasn't until Xiao Fei's appearance that her maiden heart was stirred. So, everyone has this amulet? Xiao Fei asked. No. Does Lu Yen have one? Qiao Fei asked directly. Boss doesn't have one either. Amy bit her lips and told him the truth. Haha, then what do you mean? Qiao Fei sneered. Young Master Qiao, I just want you to be safe. AI me, ever since you gave me this amulet you're no longer innocent. Why do you have to explain yourself? Okay, that's enough. It's useless to say more. I won't accept this. Don't give it to me again. Know your place. Since you've been with Lu Yen for a long time, I'll pretend this never happened. Remember, you won't die if you don't ask for it. With that, Qiao Fei continued to walk forward without looking back. He didn't even look at AI me from beginning to end. Qiao Fei was such a cold person. In terms of category, he was in the same category as Rick and Qingchu. If there was a name for this category, it would probably be the cold and aloof type. They were so cold that you would shiver on a hot day. Amy took back the amulet awkwardly. She knew Qiao Fei wasn't easy to deal with. But she still had a glimmer of hope in her heart. Sometimes she even dreamed of Qiao Fei holding her gently. In the restaurant, when are we leaving Brazil? Qiao Fei asked. Why are you in such a hurry? Lu Yen lowered her head and cut the steak nonchalantly. It's hot here and the environment is terrible, Qiao Fei complained. It's cool in the South Pole. Do you want me to book a plane ticket for you? Lu Yen asked. Will you die if you don't argue with me? Qiao Fei was speechless. This woman was never as gentle as others. I won't die, but I'll be bored, so why don't I bicker? It's strange that you didn't come back this time. I thought you'd miss Sister Mion a lot. Don't use my sister to seduce me. I'm just telling the truth. Qiao Fei shrugged. I want my sister to have a better life, so I still have a lot of things to do. For example, Qiao Fei looked at this exquisite yet perverted woman with a question mark. Guess. Lu Yen smirked. Are you going to blow up Ian's nest again? Qiao Fei didn't think it was possible for Lu Yen to be so calm. No, you guessed wrong this time. So your plan is? My plan is. Lu Yen was about to say something when she looked at her subordinates standing in a row behind her with a complicated expression. Chapter 3246. Forget it. You won't understand my plan even if I tell you. Lu Yen didn't want to talk about it. Qiao Fei didn't want to ask more questions. They slowly ate the steak and drank the red wine. The last soup is ready, the chef said as he placed 2 bowls of soup on the table. Drink it while it's hot, the chef said in perfect English. Qiao Fei and Lu Yen glanced at their respective soups and exchanged an unfathomable look. Lu Yen smiled and looked back at the chef. Are you the head chef here? Yes. Did you make this soup yourself? Lu Yen asked again. Yes. I promise it's delicious. Really? But I don't trust people's words. Why don't you take a sip and let me see? Lu Yen looked at him with a smile. The head chef's expression changed drastically when he heard her words. Come on. Drink this bowl. I'll give you $10,000 as a tip. Lu Yen stood up with the bowl of soup and walked up to the head chef. The head chef stepped back. He turned around and was about to run when 2 of Lu Yan's men grabbed his shoulders tightly. Why would you run? Isn't it a good thing to let you drink the soup for free? Lu Yen continued to smile. Then Lu Yen pried open the head chef's mouth and poured the soup into his mouth. That person was beaten to death but refused to drink. He struggled fiercely and refused to open his mouth. Seeing Lu Yen was about to get serious, he shouted in English, "There's poison in the soup. It'll kill you." Hee. Really? If that's the case, why did you give it to us? I remember we didn't know each other before. We don't have any grudges against each other, right? Did they kill your whole family? Lu Yen asked. I'm just following orders. The head chef lowered his head and shivered in fear. Whoa. Tell me, who do you take orders from? Lu Yen smiled. Boss, how did you know there was poison in the soup? Is the steak okay? One of Lu Yan's men was scared, thinking his boss had been poisoned. That's how smart they are. If they poisoned me at the beginning, I would be prepared. They waited until I was almost done with the soup before they poisoned it. Then how did you know the soup was poisoned? Are you an idiot? My father and my mother were famous medical geniuses in the world at that time. When I was 5 years old, I already knew thousands of medicinal herbs. Whether it was Chinese or Western medicine, I knew them like the back of my hand. Although I didn't study medicine in the end and chose to develop explosives, I could still ask about the taste of many medicinal herbs. Someone put snake gall grass in the soup and mixed it with a catalyst that accelerates the release of poison. It was buried by the smell of the soup, but I can still smell the snake gall. When I was young, I ate a lot of snake galls. My father didn't teach me anything else, but he did teach me this. That was close. His subordinates broke out in cold sweat after hearing what he said. That's not right. Boss, it's natural for you to smell it. Why is young Master Qiao on guard as well? Lu Yan's subordinate didn't know how Qiao Fei knew there was something wrong with it. I noticed that the head chef's expression was a little unnatural when he served us the soup. His little finger was shaking slightly, so I was a little suspicious. After seeing Yan's eyes, I roughly understood. Qiao Fei didn't want to explain. Not all of Lu Yan's subordinates were so smart. Lu Yan picked up the fork she had used to eat the steak and walked to the head chef. So, do you want to tell me who ordered you, or do you want me to stab more than 100 holes in your body with this thing? Lu Yan asked. Chapter 32:47. Don't do that. I'll tell you. The man was scared by Lu Yan's words. Go ahead. Lu Yan was impatient, and her good mood for dinner was ruined by him. One of the security guards downstairs threatened me to do it. He said he would shoot me if I didn't do it. Bullshit. How can a security guard do that? One of Lu Yan's men slapped the head chef in the face, making him see stars. He might not be lying. After all, those people could have pretended to be security guards, Lu Yan said. What's the security guard's name? Which floor is he on? Do you remember? Yes. He's a tall white man. He's about 2 meters tall and has a scar at the corner of his eye. Go and check it out. Yes, boss. Her men turned and went downstairs. Boss, I'll kill this guy for you. Amy walked over and took out a dagger, ready to kill the head chef. No, I still need this guy. Lu Yan stopped Amy. Amy was slightly surprised and looked a bit embarrassed. No one knew what Lu Yan was thinking. Except for Qiao Fei, no one really knew Lu Yan. In China, in Tang Chuan's house. Honey, are you really leaving? Yeah. Then I want to go with you. Tang Chuan was reluctant to leave. He hugged Qin Ning's waist from behind and began to stick to her. My dad only bought tickets for him and me. My father-in-law did it on purpose. No wonder people say father-in-law and son-in-law are natural enemies. He's ruthless. Tang Chuan sighed. Bullshit. Don't insult my dad. I'm going back to hand over my job and resign. My dad already agreed to let me be with you. What else do you want? How long will it take? Tang Chuan rubbed Qin Ning's neck with the tip of his nose. It tickled her and she couldn't stop laughing. Hey, stop it. It's really ticklish. It should be quick this time. I'll be back in about 10 days. What? 10 days? Oh, it's too long, Tang Chuan protested. Please, it's only 10 days. If I don't see you for 10 days, I'll miss you to death. You can video call me. There's a time difference between us, okay? One day and the other night. It's impossible for us to video call every day. Don't even think about coaxing me. Ha, I'm not lying to you. I'm serious. That won't do. You've been gone for so long this time. You have to give me some benefits. What do you mean? Qin Ning played dumb. Little girl, don't play dumb with me. What do you think? Then Tang Chuan's hands, which were originally around Qin Ning's waist, slid into her short-sleeved shirt. From the bottom to the top he groped around. Hey Tang Chuan, stop it. Little Ning Qin, you're about to leave me alone for 10 days. Can't you give me a consolation reward? You're too heartless. I. Looking at the pitiful Tang Chuan, Qin Ning felt like she was in the wrong. Actually, I should have devoured you before you left, lest something bad happens. Lin Fan mumbled. Then Tang Chuan pushed Qin Ning hard. Without any warning, Qin Ning fell onto the floor behind her. Ah! Before she could scream, Tang Chuan pressed his entire body against hers and kissed her like a storm. Qin Ning, who had never done anything between a man and a woman, was instantly mesmerized. Tang Chuan, shoo, don't talk. Feel it with your heart. Tang Chuan sealed her mouth. Chapter 32:48. Tang Chuan's love for Qin Ning was like two kids playing house, the kind of feelings they had when they were in kindergarten. Was it childish? Oh, it was very innocent. It wasn't utilitarian or scheming. Both of them came from rich families and Tang Chuan had seen countless beauties. There were even many socialites on WeChat who were prettier than Qin Ning. However, he was still only willing to like Qin Ning. Perhaps this was really love. Pursuing Qin Ning didn't go smoothly. However, the more difficult it was, the more Tang Chuan cherished it. Ever since the two of them got together in a high-profile manner, they didn't seem to be separated for long. This time Qin Ning went back to resign. Tang Chuan was reluctant. He originally wanted to follow her, but there were a lot of things to do in China. Tang Chuan's company had recently been integrated, and one of its subsidiaries had been listed. Coincidentally, Tang Chuan's father was so tired that he had a heart attack and was hospitalized. Therefore he had a lot of things to do, big and small. He was no longer the young master who ate, drank and played. His feelings for Qin Ning had been there for a long time, but he was always a little bit off. This time he really couldn't wait. There was nothing in his mind and he didn't even plan anything. A long time ago he still thought that his first time with Qin Ning must be romantic. It would either be camping at the top of a mountain full of stars, or looking at the sea at night, or looking at the colorful Ferris wheel at the top of the Ferris wheel, or in the middle of a snowy night, he would kneel on one knee and confess to her affectionately with the white snow. However, plans were always faster than changes. Many things were unexpected. Just like that, suddenly he wanted to have a taste of this little girl before she left, but he couldn't stop. What made him collapse was that Qin Ning didn't resist. The girl just closed her eyes in a daze. It was as if she knew what was going to happen today. Ning, I can't help it. Tang Chuan's breathing was a little rapid and even his heart was beating faster. He wasn't an inexperienced teenager, but this time he was acting so childish and even cute. Then, up to you, Qin Ning said shyly in a low voice. Tang Chuan was ecstatic when he heard this. He kissed her little mouth again and again. If that's what you want, I won't stand on ceremony then. What followed was another violent storm. An hour later. Tang Chuan, get the hell out of here. It hurts, it really hurts. It'll be fine in a while. I promise that it won't hurt and there will be a pleasant surprise. Surprise my ass. Get off my body. I don't want to do it anymore. Qin Ning didn't expect it to be so painful. It seemed like the AV was all a lie. Those female leads who looked like they were about to die, could it be that they were all acting? Tang Chuan was so anxious that he was sweating profusely. Who would have thought that when things were going so smoothly, this girl would suddenly go back on her word? Now he couldn't go in or out. It was so awkward. Can't you hear me? Qin Ning was in so much pain that tears came out of her eyes. I heard you. If you don't go down, I'll die. Qin Ning said with tears in her eyes. But, if I go down now, I'll die too. Tang Chuan was also in a dilemma. You're a pervert. I'll be gentler, okay? Please don't yell. Tang Chuan said and moved a little. Qin Ning's heart was about to break down, but she also knew that there was no turning back now. She could only grit her teeth and bear with it. Half an hour later. Tang Chuan, are you even human? Are you on drugs? Qin Ning looked like she had nothing left to live for. Chapter 3249. Don't you think your husband is mighty and has great stamina? Get off me. Damn you. Qin Ning really regretted finding such an animal. Didn't other people finish in 3 to 5 minutes? Why was this guy still not done after more than an hour? Although it counted as foreplay, but perhaps it was because he saw that Qin Ning couldn't take it, but in the end Mr. Tang felt sorry for her and hurriedly ended it. The two of them both collapsed on the bed after. Tang Chuan immediately pulled the blanket over and covered Qin Ning with it. He was afraid that the air conditioner would blow on her stomach. This was really considerate. Then before Qin Ning could say anything, Tang Chuan leaned over and hugged Qin Ning tightly. Honey, you've already slept with me. You have to be responsible for me. Fuck. Qin Ning really didn't know what to say. Wasn't this usually a woman's line? Now that she was like this, she was so embarrassed. You can't abandon me. In the future. I'll serve you well. Tang Chuan deliberately teased her. Then when she wasn't paying attention, he stole another kiss on her lips. Tang Chuan, you're shameless. Yeah, if being shameless can be so enjoyable, then I'll be shameless every day. Qin Ning. After joking around, Tang Chuan hugged Qin Ning and suddenly felt extremely satisfied. This was a happiness that he had never felt with any woman before. It was as if he had obtained the whole world. Even when he was young with Jining, he didn't feel this sweet. It seemed that Ning was really a very important woman to him. So important that Tang Chuan would protect her for the rest of his life. Do you want to get up and take a shower? Tang Chuan glanced at the bedsheet under Ning. The bright red color was particularly obvious, but it made Tang Chuan feel very gratified. A girl as clean as Ning was probably really hard to find in this exaggerated society. There was a joke online that if a man wanted to find a virgin nowadays, he would probably have to go to kindergarten to find one. Tang Chuan didn't have a virgin complex. In fact, to him, even if Ning wasn't a virgin, it didn't matter. After all, she lived in America where the lifestyle was more open. But now that he realized how pure Ning was, he cherished her even more. He was also silently thanking God for giving him such a precious gift. I'm in a bit of pain. I can't walk. Ning's voice was low and soft, as if she was purposely whining. Hearing her words, Tang Chuan's heart itched. If it weren't for the fact that it was her first time, he really wanted to do it again. Then I'll carry you there. I'll help you wash up. Without waiting for her reply, Tang Chuan lifted her up from the bed and walked towards the bathroom. But I don't want to go. Put me down. Ning covered her face in embarrassment. It's okay. We've already slept together. What are you afraid of? Tang Chuan didn't think much of it. After entering the bathtub, he carefully placed Ning in the bathtub and turned on the heating function. It was warm and comfortable. Tang Chuan began to fill the tub with warm water for Ning. The entire process was very gentlemanly. Ning looked at the handsome man in front of her with sweetness in her heart. Tang Chuan. Yeah. Are you willing to be with me for the rest of your life? Ning asked seriously. Chapter 3250. Miss Qin, are you proposing to me? Tang Chuan laughed. Stop joking around. I'm asking you, are you willing or not? Ning rolled her eyes at him. Yes, I'm willing to sleep with you for the rest of my life. You pervert. Ning was a little embarrassed by his straightforwardness, so she turned her head away. Tang Chuan filled the tub for her while gently applying the shower gel on her body. The scent of roses filled the air. It was especially romantic. Ning, did you know? I used to think that since my family was so rich, I didn't have a goal in life. It was like I could have anything I wanted. Women are the same. Some want money, some want power, some want to climb up the social ladder, some want to use my family's resources, some want to get married, and some even think that I'm good-looking, but none of them are sincere. Ning and I were young and frivolous. After she hurt me, I didn't dare to fall in love with women anymore. So, Ning tilted her head and smiled at him. So, I thought that I might not be as lucky as Wei Liao and Chu to be with the woman they like. I always thought that once I'm old enough, I'll just listen to my family's arrangements or find someone with a hot body and big breasts to enjoy, until I met you. It seems like I'm quite important to you. What do you mean quite important? I mean very important, okay? After you appeared by my side, I suddenly had a goal in life. Before it was to eat, drink, and play. What about now? Ning asked with a smile. Now I want to marry you and have children with you. What about after we get married and have children? After a long time we'll get tired of each other until the 7-year age. We'll fight, curse, change our minds and cheat on each other. Ning said. No, those things aren't absolute. What I'm thinking now is that after we get married and have children, the three of us will live a busy but fulfilling life every day. When we're on vacation, I'll take you to fly all over the world. We can go to America and take our children to see the places where you used to live and study. We can also go to Tahiti and see the pink beaches, go to Norway and see the clear lakes and forests, go to Switzerland and see the Alps, go to Finland and see the beautiful aurora, and even go to Mongolia and see the endless grasslands. With you and our children, my life seems to be complete all of a sudden. By then, even eating and drinking will become meaningful. Oh my, our young Master Tang has turned into a scholar. How can he speak so well? None of this comes from the heart. It's not a trick. Yeah, it's okay if it's a trick. I like your hypocrisy, Ning joked. Get lost. Don't talk nonsense. I'm telling you the truth. Tang Chuan patted her snow-white foot lovingly. I know, Master Tang. You have to take good care of yourself when you go back to America.